What's cracking, everybody? It's your favorite starving musician, Jackie Jordan, back here with another video. And I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of a short podcast with Jackie Jordan. Now, this episode, I'm starting off with a new angle. So let me know if you guys are rocking with the vertical angle or if you want me to go back to the horizontal angle for our podcast. Comment down below. Let me know if you want to see that. Now, full disclosure, y'all, I've been a bit under the weather, as you can probably hear now in my voice and in my sinuses. I'm not all the way over it. I still don't feel like myself, but I'm getting there, and I'm going to try to push through this episode the best I can so that I can give you all the great content that you all subscribe to my channel to see. Now, first, I want you to do me a favor. Go ahead and click the like on this video. Click the subscribe button. Click the little bell next to it so you get a notification every time I drop a video. And after you get done listening to this intriguing piece of content, I want you to comment down below and let me know what you think. Alright, let's get into it. Now, y'all know I've been covering this whole Drake Kendrick thing. Ever since Kendrick dropped, fuck the big three, it's just me. Fuck the big three, it's just me. Big me. That's right. Even though I'm like 5'4". But anyways, that doesn't matter. Y'all, I got so fucking tired of talking about this Drake and Kendrick shit that I literally just had to cool off for a few days because I realized that a lot of people already had their minds made up about who was going to prevail in this. So I do understand that no matter what Drake could have said, people were going to always decide to side with Kendrick. And I can't take anything away from Kendrick Lamar in this battle. He did his thing, obviously. He actually gained a lot of my respect. And apparently he gains the world's respect as well because he went number one with Not Like Us. That's right, he pulled a Drake on Drake himself. Kendrick Lamar broke Drake's record with 6.8 million streams in one day for Not Like Us. That is a crazy stat, y'all. And to say that he did it against Drake, who we know to be the guy who makes hit songs. He doesn't make diss songs. His diss songs just happen to be hits records. But Kendrick hit him with the Uno card. He said, nigga, hold my beer. And he dropped Not Like Us. And in my opinion, I think Not Like Us is going to be the record that we remember for years and years to come whenever we reflect upon this battle. When we look and see how people are reacting to it, it's going off in the clubs, it's going off at the local barbecue. West Coast niggas is up right now. And I mean, you can't hate on it. I mean, it's a great record. I can't lie, man. I kind of be, I kind of be giving it a little two-step, whenever that shit come on, because it's a fire record. Like, what do y'all want me to say? Kendrick Lamar is a fucking animal of an MC, and the diversity, the versatility that he was able to show in this battle was what really was the thing that was the nail in the coffin for Drake, because I would say a lot of Drake's songs in this battle were kind of monotone. Like, he didn't give us, or at least me, I'll speak for myself, he didn't give me the Drake that I was waiting to hear until the Heart Part 6. I feel like Drake should have been on his real rapidy rap shit from the beginning of the battle. I think it probably would have turned out a lot differently. But one of the reasons why Not Like Us is doing so well on the charts is because of the allegations that Kendrick alleged upon Drake. He called him a pedophile, y'all. Actually, he didn't say he was a pedophile. He said Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Bro, Drake gotta fucking get the fade with Kendrick when he see him. You can't go on a record and call me a certified pedophile in front of 16 million people. Like, bro, that's just not gonna go over. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna go over. We gotta catch the fade after that one. Um, but those are some pretty heavy accusations to make on a person, to call him a pedophile. Now, first of all, let's get into the definition of a pedophile. A pedophile is a adult whose primary sexual attraction is to prepubescent children. So we're not talking about teenagers. We're talking about prepubescent children. We're talking about 12 and younger. So just off that metric alone, I do not believe Drake to be a pedophile. I don't know Drake in real life. I don't know what he does with his free time, but like Drake said in The Heart Part 6, he said, yo, I'm too famous for that shit you just suggested. If that's what I was doing, I promise you I would have been arrested. And although I didn't really like that line, because like a lot of people said, they were saying that, yeah, you may be rich and famous, but we see plenty of rich and famous people getting caught in this underworld shit all the time. So that doesn't really give you an out, Drake. Which is a valid point, but in the same breath, I kind of understand what Drake was saying, because a lot of people tend to lump all famous people together. Like, no, there's levels to this shit. There's levels to fame. There's levels to notoriety. And I believe what Drake was trying to say when he said, yo, I'm too famous for that shit, is he's saying that, yo, I literally can't go anywhere or do anything without cameras being on me, without people waiting to hit up TNZ and get a paycheck about to expose my fucking negative behavior. I believe that's what Drake was saying. Like, this is the same guy who, whenever Drake went on a date with an IG model and he rented out an entire football stadium to have this date with this woman, they literally flew a helicopter above the stadium just to get pictures of who Drake was on a date with. That's a different type of fame. They're not just doing that for any other Joe Smo in the industry. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen like that. And I believe that, yes, money can silence people. Money can make certain things go away. But when we're talking about a pedophile, we're talking about someone with a mental illness. We're talking about someone whose primary choice of sexual attraction is little children. So we're talking about a pattern of behavior, right? This isn't just a one-off thing, like, oh, I think I'm just going to be a terrible person and go and fuck a child. No, this is a person who has a habit of having sex with children. Now, if Drake was doing that in real life, yes, I do believe he would have been caught, because, yes, maybe on one or two occasions, somebody will turn a blind eye if you pay him off. But I do believe that there are a lot of good, solid people in the world, and people aren't just going to go along with a superstar trying to molest children. I mean, it's just not going to happen. When we talk about regular people like you and me, we gonna say something, because we don't fuck with no child molestation. I already told y'all I'm a victim of sexual abuse myself. I will never sit here and defend a man who I actually believed was a pedophile. And I don't believe Drake to be a pedophile. And also, I don't believe Drake to have any type of mental issue or problem when it comes to the kind of women that he is attracted to. Drake likes young girls. That's no different from 95 people or artists or executives, entertainers. No different from 95% of these niggas in the industry. Drake likes young girls. And the problem that I have with this pedophile angle that is trying to be put out there about Drake is because people are fucking hypocrites, yo. Y'all will sit there and say, oh, this person has a problem when it's somebody that you don't like, but you will sit here and turn a blind eye to someone who you do like. Like I said, 95 of the people in the industry like young girls. No person works their entire life to become rich and famous to date 30-year-old plus women who are either at the wall or past the wall. It's just not going to happen, right? Most of these niggas like young girls. Now, when we say young, we're not talking about below 17. We're talking about 18 and up. Yes, these niggas like young girls. And if we gonna call Drake out for the kind of women he likes, then we gotta call out each and every single one of these niggas out here talking to these young girls. You know, we can't just pick and choose whenever we want to be outraged about some shit. Right? So no, I don't believe Drake is a pedophile. I don't think Drake has a problem. But I'm open to be wrong. If somebody can bring me some evidence suggesting that Drake has done all the things that he is being accused of, then I'll change my mind. I'll get on here on this podcast and I'll tear Drake a new asshole. No Diddy. I will fucking let Drake have it. Because I don't fuck with that shit. I don't fuck with any kind of sexual abuse. I don't fuck with any kind of child abuse. None of that. Like, if that nigga's guilty for anything of that nature, throw that nigga under the jail. Real talk. But, as I said in my last video, you're not going to change the way I feel about Drake based off of allegations. You got to show me some proof. Now, another thing Kendrick said in his diss, you know, and not even Kendrick, but also Ross and pretty much everybody else calling Drake a white boy. Y'all, I'm a type of person to where if I'm going to be outraged about someone being racist or making racist remarks because they are a person who are either white or Asian or any race outside of the race in which I am, which is a black American, I'm not going to sit here and turn a blind eye whenever a black person is making racist remarks towards another black person. And I believe this whole white boy angle that they trying to do with Drake, man, it's tired. I don't fuck with no kind of colorism. I have a sister who is light-skinned. I have nephews who are light-skinned. And one of the things that we talk about is, in my sister's upbringing, she had to deal with a lot of bullying at school because of her skin color. And it's coming from black people or darker skinned blacks who basically look at a light skinned girl and say, oh, she must be here to take all of our men. Because there's this stereotype that all light skins are liked or preferred better than dark-skinned women, which I think is bullshit, because in my opinion, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. I love my dark-skinned queens. There ain't nothing wrong with, you know, a little dark skin. I love my brown-skinned women. All of that is cool, as much as I love my light-skinned women. So I don't have no type of preference. Ain't no favoritism here with Jackie. I like what I like, but I can't speak for everybody. Some people might prefer the lighter shade. Some people might prefer the darker shade. But in my eyes, it's all black. Us black people, we are all the same. They call us colored people because we come in all colors, right? You can go to Africa, and a lot of times when people hear that term African, they think of a black person, right? But there are white Africans, you know? There are light-skinned Africans. There are mixed breed Africans. There are so many different Africans, but we seem to associate that word African with blackness, which is why for the longest growing up in this country, I always thought of myself as being an African American, but it took me to kind of grow up and learn a little bit more to understand that no, I am a Native American. I am not an African American. I am a black American. And I don't like when they try to associate the term African with blackness, because African is a nationality, right? It has nothing to do with a race or ethnicity. Um, so the colorism is just lame to me. And I don't see how Kendrick can be this whole black messiah and this guy who's just so pro-black, but then you turn around and you just talk shit about light-skinned people, and Drake's not black. He can't say the N-word because he's half white. This is what I mean about hip-hop. Like, we pick and choose the type of shit that we want to be mad about. We pick and choose the type of shit we want to be upset about. Because Aiden Ross got up there on his stream and he said the word nigga, and all of the black persons fucking still hung out with him the next day. All of these black entertainers still on Aiden Ross' dick, even after he used the N-word for clout. Like, to me, that was the lamest shit ever. But in hip-hop, bro, we let so many culture vultures and people who really aren't for us into the culture that we don't fucking have no place to say who doesn't belong in the culture. Because we hypocrites. We hypocrites. It comes down to, at the end of the day, whether we like you or whether we dislike you. That's all it boils down to. And I don't like none of these niggas, to be honest, because, you know, maybe that's just me on my ethical high ground. Maybe I might be the only person on this planet with a little bit of integrity, and I don't want to sell myself out to receive fame and notoriety and financial gain. Like, to me, I'd rather have the best of both worlds. I think it was Ruby Rose, but I seen a tweet and she was like, your bitch has morals, I have millions. And then I seen a comment where a guy was like, some people have both. And that really explains my entire goal in this shit. Is I never want to be that guy that sells myself short. I never want to be that guy that sells y'all, the people, the listeners, the supporters short. I always want to stand on my own 10 toes and make sure that I can sleep well when I lay my head down at night. That's the most important thing to me. I want to be able to look back when all of this shit is said and done and said, I did it my way. I ain't never had to kiss nobody ass. I ain't never have to be anything other than who I am. And to me, that's the true definition of making it and fulfilling the American dream. Is when you can do things your way and you can lay down at night next to the people who love you and respect you. And you can know that come tomorrow, there's another day to do it all over again. Some of these people in the industry, they have a hard time sleeping at night. The joke is in the medication, if you know what I'm saying. These people have a hard time living in their own skin. That's why they gotta pop all of these different pills and drink all of this alcohol, putting all this negative shit in their body just to escape the reality that they living in, because they can't live with themselves. They can't live with the fact that they sold their soul for financial gain. Like I said in my last video, a lot of these motherfuckers don't care about fame at all. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the people who spend their hard-earned money in order to support them and make a way for them to have a career. They don't care nothing about the people. They only care about the money, which is why they sell y'all out time and time again. And this brings me to my next topic, because I gotta say something about Ross, man. I've been a big Rick Ross fan pretty much all my life, man. I really love Ross. To me, he's been underrated. Throughout all of these years, he's been underrated because he's one of the best rappers that we have. Now, people like to joke about his weight and he's fat and he used to be a corrections officer, Officer Ricky, da-da-da-da-da. We done already heard that, right? But I like to talk about talent, and Rick Ross is one of the most talented artists that we have in this industry. And Ross is actually a person who I used to see and fantasize about maybe one day signing to MMG, because I saw the way in which Ross would go to bat for his artists like Meek Mill and Wale. Ross, to me, he was the goal. You wanted to be like Rick Ross. You wanted to have all of these billions, I mean, not billions, but you want to have all of these millions of dollars and all of these businesses. And you also want to have a group of millionaires around you, because you don't judge your success by how much money you make, but you judge your success by how much money you make other people. If you're the only person that's eating and the rest of the people in your crew are starving, you did something wrong. You didn't do it the right way. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I supported Rick Ross. But I gotta be honest, seeing the way in which he conducted himself throughout this entire Drake Kendrick thing, man, it's just been distasteful to say the least. Like, honestly, Drake and Ross are two people who I believe to have had a real relationship throughout all of these years. Now, I know I spoke previously about how there are true friendships and then there are industry friendships. Obviously, true friendships expand beyond music, expand beyond entertainment, expand beyond any financial incentive. These are two people who are loyal to each other. And then you have industry friends, who these are two people who are like co-workers who have a common interest and they work together to achieve common goal. Most of the time in this industry, it's financial gain. People working with each other for financial gain. We even see couples come about for financial gain. Those are industry relationships, and then there are real relationships. The relationship between YMCMB and MMG, I believe to be a real relationship. I believe that Ross and Rain had a real relationship. I believe that Drake and Ross had a real relationship, as Drake and Meek Mill had a real relationship. But as we starting to see time and time over again, whenever there is money on the table, whenever there is billions and billions of dollars out there floating in the ecosystem, there's always going to be a money-hungry person who is going to be like, to hell with all the morals, to hell with all the relationships. I'm going to run directly to the bag, even if it means selling out myself and selling out my supporters. That is what I believe Rick Ross did, entering into this Kendrick Lamar Drake beef. Now, Drake has been battling the entire industry. Apparently, Metro Boomin and Future devised this entire scheme in order to get all of these different artists to go against Drake. I like to consider it like an internal cancel. These guys don't have any real power to cancel Drake, but they band together to use their influence to try to push Drake out of the market, right? To try to change the way people look at Drake. So if I believe that Rick Ross and Drake had a real relationship, and then when I take in consideration all of the many times Drake has given Ross a boost in his career. If Drake had never came onto the scene in 2009, I believe we wouldn't have heard from Rick Ross after the fallout of his beef with 50 Cent. Because, 50 Cent pretty much had Ross dead in the water. And then here comes this Canadian kid, this white boy like Ross wants to say, and he gave you hit record after 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 hit motherfucking record. Drake has given Ross all of his biggest classics because there was a real relationship there. There was a real friendship there. And the reason why I know that Ross is on some shady shit with all of this It's because where was this energy for 50? 50 has been trolling Ross for 20 plus years. Well, no, I'm sorry, not 20 plus years. For 15 plus years. Around that, in that ecosystem. Somewhere around there. Especially since Instagram. For the last decade, 50 Cent has been trolling the fuck out of Rick Ross. And Ross just ignores it because he knows that he can't hold a fucking candle to 50. Whether that be with internet influence or rather that be on wax. Getting on the microphone lyrically, Ross cannot fuck with 50 Cent. And then on top of that, but whenever he unfollowed Drake and, then Drake disses him on push-ups and Ross responds and he says, yo, the reason why I unfollowed you, nigga, is because you sent that cease and desist for French Montana, nigga. I called cap on that shit when I first heard it. Because what was that energy for Meek Mill? Ross makes a lot more money off of Meek Mill than he makes off of French Montana. And to my knowledge, French Montana isn't even signed to MMG. To my knowledge, right? I could be wrong on that. If I'm wrong on that, somebody fact check it. Put it down in the comments if I'm tripping on that. But yo, Ross didn't have that same energy when Drake and Meek Mill was going at it. That nigga was like, hey, my name Bennett, I ain't in it. He ain't have shit to say when he was going at his premiere act, Meek Mill. And him and Meek Mill have a real relationship, even though there has been some friction over the last couple years there. So I don't believe that this shit was over no fucking cease and desist of French Montana. I don't. And just like everybody during this entire rap feud, I was listening to Academic Stream. And Academics was saying that he spoke to Drake and he asked him about Rick Ross dissing him. And Drake basically said, I don't know what his problem is. In Drake's eyes, this came out of nowhere. Now, he could be lying. I don't know. But I don't see why he would have any reason to lie. Because, again, Drake has been there to help Ross time and time and time again. So why would he have any incentive to do Ross any kind of way? I don't think he did Ross any kind of way. I think Ross just said like, yo, this is the perfect opportunity to get some relevance on my name again. Because him, including all of these other niggas who are mad because they no longer have the same access to Drake as they once had, he said, alright, well nigga, I'm just finna team up with all these niggas over here. We gonna get y'all out the paint. We gonna make a moment. I'm gonna put my Bel Air bottle up in all of these videos while I'm trolling you, even though I don't have that same energy with 50 Cent who trolls me every single day of my existence. Right? I'm gonna promote all of my brands. I'm gonna promote my card show. I'm gonna stab you in the fucking back for financial incentives. Is what Ricky Rose decided to do to his homie. That's some hoe shit, y'all. I'm sorry. That's just some hoe shit in my eyesight, bro. Because where's the loyalty? Where's the respect? Now, people like to say, yo, money and success, sometimes it draws a wedge between people who, who love each other. I call cap on that. Obviously, it happens. We see it every day. But if money or anything like that can change the way you feel about me, then, yo, you wasn't my real friend to begin with. The love has always been fake. If you want to stab me in the back the first time in which there's financial incentive to do so. There was never a friendship. There was never love. You were just using me this entire time. And I'm pretty sure that's how Drake feels with this whole Ross shit. Now, another reason why I'm losing my respect for Rick Ross is because that bad boy from LA, the real boogeyman in my opinion, because this nigga disses Like it ain't shit. This nigga just disses everybody. Like it's a hobby to this nigga or something. But the game dropped that Rick Ross diss, Freeway's Revenge. Ooh, and he was tearing Ross a new one. He was barring that boy up like it was no tomorrow. He was challenging that man to the ring. He was like, yo, nigga, let's get the fade, Officer Ricky. And those of you who have been in tune, you know, with everything that's been going on, this little feud has been brewing for years between Game and Ross. Many years ago, Game went at Meek Mill and one of the best diss songs in the last decade. Where was that energy then, Ross? All of this fucking smoke that you got for Drake, where was that motherfucking energy? Whenever the Game was whooping on old Meeky Mill, when Drake was whooping on old Meeky Mill, right? When J. Cole went at Wale's head, where was this energy at, Ross? And then not only that, but since the Game then came and dissed you, you've been quiet. What, you don't want to address him? What, you don't want to drop a response record in 30 minutes like you did with Drake? Why is that? Is it because Game is a real street nigga? Is it because lyrically you can't fuck with the Game? Why, Ross? Give me answers. Ross, give me answers, buddy. Do you not want that Game smoke? Because I'm here for it. I'm here for the Game smoke. I would love to see a battle between Ross and the Game. But unfortunately, in light of recent revelations, I don't think Officer Ricky is built that way. I don't think he likes fair ones. Nah, I think he's too good for the fair ones. He'll rather just come sneak up behind you and stab you in the back. You know, hey. But he ain't no different from a lot of these niggas in the fucking industry. And that's why I said on this last podcast, I want nothing to do with these niggas in the music industry, bro. They are all fake. It's all entertainment. None of it is real. And I just don't fuck with it. Like I said, if I'm going to make my millions, if I'm going to be successful, I want to do it my way. And I want to be able to lay my head on a pillow at night and know that I never had to fucking sell myself short, and I never had to sell out my supporters or the people who love me out. That's my goal. And y'all can feed into all of this sensationalism, this negativity, this tribalism, all of this shit that goes into internet culture. Again, I don't want anything to do with none of that either, because you motherfuckers don't care about the truth. You don't care about the truth if the lie is more entertaining. And I'm not finna fucking keep compromising my mental health in order to stoop down on you niggas level and have a debate with you. It's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry. But off of that hip hop shit, man, I just want to touch on this sports, real quick. LeBron James' son, Bronny James, has entered into the NBA draft. He was working out at the combine, and Bronny looks to be doing his thing. He had one stint where he made 12 plus threes. He made some nice plays in his game today. He led all scorers in 13 points. I've been watching Bronny since he was a little boy in fucking AAU basketball. I've been paying attention and following Bronny. And Bronny has always had the skill set in my eyes, but to me, I just never really seen that want it factor or that it factor. Like, I'm just finna come and I'm finna torch you on the court. Like, I've never seen that out of Bronny James. I've always been the person who says, Bryce is the real second coming of LeBron, because Bryce just plays with so much swag, man, and so much confidence. And I think that Bryce is going to be the real second coming of LeBron James, but Bronny James is still a very good player, and I kind of wish that he had stayed and did another year in college. I know what people was giving him flack because he was averaging under 10 points in his entire college thing. So now he's entering in the draft and they saying it's nepotism and he didn't deserve it. And people just forget about the fact that this kid literally, you know, was dealing with heart issues. This guy literally is fresh off of a fucking heart surgery. Like, give the kid some grace. That's part of the reason why I wanted to see him go to college for another year so that he can have that redemption that he needs. Because regardless of what he does, you know, whether he makes the draft or not, people are just going to say that he's only in the NBA because he's LeBron's son, which is fucked up in my eyes. You know, the kid can't help who he was born to, and you know, we always want to make nepotism sound like it's a bad thing. Isn't nepotism the American dream? Like, isn't that the point? I know a lot of us, we had these tough upbringings and we had to struggle and we had to work hard to make our own living and everything like that. Isn't the goal of us working hard to put ourselves in a position to where we can change the trajectory of our family and break those generational curses by teaching our kids financial literacy and having that generational wealth, putting our kids through college or private school if they need to, you know, having the resources and able to raise the children of the future, you know? Isn't that the goal? Yes, his dad is a fucking billionaire. So what? Yes, he might have a little bit more opportunities than a lot of the children and coming out of the inner city. Yes, all of that is true. But if you had the money, if you were rich and had money to blow, wouldn't you do or at least want the same thing for your children? Now, I do understand that they need to be able to work somewhat, you know, and not expect everything to be handed to them. But in the same breath, isn't the entire point of us spending so much time stressing about finances and trying to put ourselves and our families in the best position possible? Isn't nepotism a good thing? I don't know. Y'all let me in the comments. What do you think about nepotism? I don't think nepotism is a bad thing. Uh, in some cases, nepotism can have a negative effect on certain things, but in most cases, nepotism is just the result of someone somewhere in the family lineage saying, you know what, we're finna break this generational curse of poverty and we're finna make sure that our children have a better, brighter, and of course, easier lifestyle in which we weren't afforded coming up as children, you know. So best lucks to Bronny James, man. I hope you keep balling out. I hope you keep doing your thing, and I really hope to see you drafted, you know. And keep your head up, man. Don't worry about the negative people, you know, the criticism, man. Just use it as fuel. Again, man, shout out to Bronny James. I'm rooting for you. And lastly, y'all, I just want to give my NBA Finals prediction. Right now, I have in the finals Boston versus Denver. Um, I believe Boston's gonna get it, y'all. Um, Boston has been knocking on the door for many, many years. And since adding Drew Holiday and Porzingis, they've definitely taken their roster to another level. And I think this is the year. Obviously, in the West, we see the Timberwolves, the young Timberwolves, giving the Denver Nuggets a run for their money. And I think they kind of expose some of their weaknesses. And I believe the Nuggets are going to beat the Timberwolves in 7, and then I believe that they're going to go on to meet the Boston Celtics in the finals. And I think Boston gets ring 17 this year, y'all. I think that's the way it's going to shake down. Obviously, Jason Tatum, Finals MVP. He going to make Kobe proud. Yeah, so those are my NBA Finals predictions. But I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of A Short Podcast with Jackie Jordan. As always, I am your host, Jackie Jordan. If you enjoyed this video and the things that we discussed, I want you to click a like on this video, click the subscribe button, click the little bell next to it so you get a notification every time I drop a video. And then I want you to leave me a comment, y'all. Do y'all think Rick Ross is wilding? Do y'all think Drake is a pedophile? You know, is Kendrick really the king of both coasts? Is Bronny James going to make it to the NBA? Is he going to be better than his father? Is he going to make a lane for himself? I don't know. What are your NBA Finals predictions? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. But until next time, y'all have a good one. Peace out.